Camera C. I want to make sure I get this working before I keep going. So sad. So it's just not turning on, huh? So early. Well, I have work tonight, so that's the reason why I'm doing a little bit earlier today. Huh. So I wonder why this isn't doing it at all, though. Hold on, I'm having some technical difficulties. Ah, you just got out of school. Yeah, I got work tonight, so I want to get this stuff done now. So then, like when I get home at like 11, I don't have to like do another recording. Or I don't have to live stream like super late. So that way I can go to bed at a reasonable time. Because I still got to like edit the footage too and post it on after. Alright, I think we're good here. Alright. Let's get this head cam set up. Alright, look at that. Okay. Now let me start my thing for the Instagram live stream. And then we'll be cruising. Alright. Alright, I think we're good. Okay. Let's move this out of the way here. Ooh. Dang it. The audio's always on. Wait. What? Oh, I guess that was part of the music. I thought I was talking. That was so strange. Alright. Green on. Camera B. Green on. Hello everybody, it's me. We're back again with another video. Today I got 3 more cooking up for you guys. You'll see in a second I moved some of the clay around so I can open up some spaces. I'm getting to a point where I think I'm going to have to start working towards, after this spring semester, right between spring and summer, I think I'm going to have to reorganize the whole entire room. So I just want to start prepping and thinking about some ideas on how I want that to sort of function and what I want things to look like. Anyway, I'm going to get right over there. I'll see you in a second. Green off. Green off. There we go. Camera C. So, but you can see I got rid of all the clay that's usually over on that side over there. So I'm pretty excited about getting that out of there. You know, sometimes like when you let these things like build up, it gets a little bit too crazy, but it almost looks like a little half moon over here. But that space I'm going to fill up with more trees just because I ran out of space for my upstairs. And so I'm going to just close this door a little bit. I don't think anybody will come in, but I don't want to just like annoy my neighbors. Okay. We'll get right into it here. A little bit of water right on this edge here. I also moved like a lot of things upstairs. My apartment no longer looks like a what's the word? like an apartment. It looks like a studio space. And so there's like one room where I have like a majority of all the the living stuff, and then everything else is kind of just process things. But anyway, camera B. Camera B. There you go. And also I'm starting to feel that the head set here is getting a little bit loose again. I didn't tighten it up, so that's my bad. I should have done that. because right now I feel like it's getting pretty loose. So if during the video it like falls down and you're just looking at my nose or something from my head camera view, I apologize. I'm going right up. And then the hammer fist coming down. Look at that, guys. Nice. You know, I've been thinking a lot about how I could develop these trees into other things, and I had a lot of cool ideas that are in the making here, but I'm not going to do them just yet. You know, sometimes I have this like habit to like start like a new project even though the surroundings aren't ready for it, right? And so I think this time I want to really make sure I finish this big tree thing, and then after that, then I can sort of explore a little bit. It'll be kind of like a research phase until I get the next project sort of in. I also keep thinking about making like, I wonder if I made 10,000 of these trees. You know, I'm making 1,000 right now. I was like wondering what it would take for me to make 10,000. So I'm trying to think about that too. And you might be like, why would I want to do 10,000? Well, there's this like quote, I guess it's from like Bruce Lee, where Bruce Lee says something like, "I'm not scared of the man who knows how to punch 10,000 different ways. I'm scared of the man who knows how to punch one way 10,000 times." Right? And then I'll call the series Mission to Scare Bruce Lee. Or something, I don't know. But I also think that it'd just be kind of a cool thing, right? Like, I feel like I got really good after, you know, almost getting close to 1,000 of these trees, right? Imagine how good I could get after 10,000 of them. You know what I mean? Lighten up the pressure as I get up. There's like a little spot here that I need to patch up here. There we go. A little bit more water in the base here. Finger sticking out. Okay. We're going to open up the bottom here. Get some of that water out of there. Because I had this, the image for these trees was one day that they could be in a gallery too, and they take up the whole entire room. But then I'm thinking like, 1,000 really isn't that many pots, you know? Like, 10,000 seems like it's unobtainable, you know? I kind of like the idea that, like in my mind, I don't think I can think about how much that would look like. What does 10,000 look like in pots on the floor, right? I can think of 1,000 pots, right? I can think of, you know, different amounts pretty easily, right? I can imagine in my head and visually what the space looks like. But 10,000, I have no idea what that would sort of look like. And so I think for me, it'd kind of be like a fun little adventure, be try to find out what that actually does look like, and then have it in a gallery space. I think it'd be crazy. Anyway. Oh. A little water right on this bottom edge. Pull that up ever so slightly. And I think on this one, we're not going to do anything too crazy. We're going to do some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we'll just leave them. I'm not even going to exaggerate these ones. There we go. Look at that. Okay, I think this one's kind of boring. I think this one's the top of it's kind of lackluster, and the twist isn't really exaggerated at all. It's more of a mundane pot. Camera C. Let's see what's going on here. Would you preach on S cracks? I've compressed and tried to drive careful, but they've been happening. Interesting. So yeah, I can preach a little bit about S cracks. I think I don't really experience S cracks very often. And when I think of why S cracks happen, and when people say compressing the clay is like why S cracks like don't, or like not compressing is why S cracks happen, I just don't know if I have enough personal anecdotal evidence to like agree with that statement, right? I think a lot of times there's a lot of cases in ceramics where people like sort of have these things that like buzzwords and buzz ideas that are just kind of accepted. I personally think that we should be a little bit more, because I just don't necessarily think that's been the case for me. I've never really had problems with S cracks unless it was on plates, and I assumed what actually was causing the S crack was, what's it called? The thickness, evenness, right? Like either I had my rim of my pot a little bit too, what's the word? Too thick, and then the body of it was too thin, or I had vice versa. It was I'm trying to get all this clay out of here quick. It's really obnoxious that it's in here actually. That's why it's been not working well. So I just think I would really, next time you get an S crack, break one of the S crack things and look at your wall thickness and see if there's some spots. Usually if you're making a foot ring too, sometimes it can get pretty thick on that foot ring in comparison to the very bottom floor of your pots, right? So I would just look at that a little bit too and say that, you know, it's not just all a compressing thing. You know, when I push on the bottoms, I don't feel like I don't really compress a lot of my work. Like, I don't think of it like that. You know, I always am telling you, I cut through that bottom layer, and I don't necessarily think that I'm like, you know, getting it compressed while I'm doing that, right? I just think that I'm trying to focus on getting the pots really even. And even if you cut open some of my untrimmed pots, you'll see even close to the bottom, it's not that much of a thickness difference than through the whole entire, like through the belly of the pot. It's pretty even. And that's why, I mean, sometimes you'll see my pots, they collapse and fissure on the bottom because I'm trying to get so thin on the bottom because I'm not trimming, right? And so I'd really say that I think S cracks are more of a thickness change than a compression thing. So that's kind of my preaching on that. I know a lot of people are like, will like really stress the compressing the bottoms. I actually don't even think it really matters that much. And it could, you know, it could also be a way that you're firing it. A lot of kilns, they're not like, they're not programmed ramp schedules. A lot of people just hit automatic slow fire. You know, slow is actually insanely fast during that beginning stage, right? Right when you're at that quartz inversion, that's where I feel like a lot of S cracks can happen, right? Is because all of a sudden through quartz inversion, it's going to shrink like 2% all of a sudden, right? And so if you're barreling through that, even on an automatic slow program, you know, it's going to just keep on happening. I would say if you program your own kilns, just go look up some like bisque, some bisque schedules online and look for the ones that are pretty slow and go like 20 to 50 degrees per hour, right, during that quartz inversion phase. And so I'd look up on like Digital Fire. They'd probably have some nice things. Just because I see that happen all the time, that people don't really like, first they don't load their kilns like full enough, right? And so you got to remember each one of these objects is like a little sponge for heat. And so you're going to be heating unevenly if you don't have it packed fully anyway as well. But I'd say most of the time it's usually just like an object problem rather than a firing problem. But still, it's all these different factors. You got to keep them in mind because that's just how it is. It's usually when people have definitive answers in ceramics, they don't know what they're talking about. At least that's my personal opinion. There's very few people, I think, in the world, at least that I've met, that are really on top of their game with all that stuff. And the ones who aren't even potters and doing ceramics. They're like doing some other thing. And so like that's related to ceramics. And so in my opinion, I really think that there's a lot more than just one definitive answer for things. And so you got to just sort of band-aid each one of those problems that you think it could be until eventually you find a sort of solution, right? And maybe sometimes those solutions are cascading. It's not just once you find that thing, it just happens there. Even the clay that you use could be causing that as well. So that's my kind of spiel on S-cracks. Again, I don't get them too much on the bottoms of my cups or anything. But again, I'm pretty even along all the way throughout, right? Alright, let's open this up. Camera B. Camera B. And so my headset's starting to slide down my head. It's going to be acting like a blindfold here in a little bit. Okay, thumbs down on the inside here. I'm cutting along that bottom surface, right? And I'll show you, wait, camera C? Camera C? I'll show you exactly how I do the bottoms, right? And I haven't really fired like a bunch of trees. People have fired my demo pieces for the trees though, and I haven't gotten any S-cracks on the bottoms of them. But you see I'm cutting along that bottom surface, right? You can see my nails. That's all I'm doing is I'm just adding like a nice little spiral on the bottom, and that's the bottom. I didn't even do the whole compression thing. Sometimes I will if it's like really uneven, but it's usually because I'm just trying to get the evenness out, not because I'm trying to compress anything, right? And that's how I do the bottoms. And I'm doing my llama pull here on the inside. I'm slowly bringing these past center, right, to get that nice little volcano there, right? Camera B. I think you were saying something. I'll see if you have another question, quick. I think I like to leave the bottoms thick so I can trim how I want. I pay better attention to. Okay. Yeah, I would say that's another thing too. When you are going really thick on the bottoms because you want to get that nice foot ring, maybe that could be a thing to test out too. It's got to be something with how the particles are aligning too on maybe a really thick bottom, but I wouldn't be able to. I don't really make the bottoms thick too often anymore on my pots, so I don't think, maybe that could just be a thing. Oh man, there's like a little stone in here. Let's get that out. So maybe that could be a thing that I just don't even run into because I don't make them very thick. But again, I think the best way to find an answer is to just explore the answers that pop to your head, right? Or the possible solutions. I think you're going to be looking through like old forums like online that look like they were made in like the early 2000s if you want to find like any like really good information on that stuff. And even then, these people, like when you listen to them talk in these forums, it's like they're using like some crazy coded language. I'm like, okay, this is just obnoxious. I'd rather just like throw 5 pots than try to decipher what the heck's going on, right? And that way your body kind of learns it too, right? I'm sure like once you stop having those sort of S-cracks, all of a sudden you're going to keep on not having them because your body's going to learn how to naturally address it once you just make enough objects, right? Right to the bottom here. There you go. A water right at the bottom edge here. Little rod right on my shoulder, or not my shoulder, my elbow, my wrist, my forearm, whatever it is. Don't forget to breathe, guys. Nice. It's a good pull. Can really feel my headset starting to fall now. It's very unfortunate. It makes me feel like I'm just angry, like I'm squinting or something. Well, part of my sponge fell. Where do I set that? I guess I set it there. Whatever. Okay, right on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. I feel like this one's all out of whack. So just following that twist kind of at the middle. So I don't want to twist and fall here, so we just want to grab it before it wants to fall. We'll go up and then twist over. There we go. Get that kind of right on center there. Open this up ever so slightly. I just hate how this thing goes over my eyebrows, yo. Makes me feel like I'm a Neanderthal. Oh, Neanderthal. Make mud into tree. Right? Alright. There we go. Okay. Here's number 2. Camera C. Camera C. Oh, come on. This headset is driving me crazy. Wipe all my clay all over my body because I don't have a little rag. Okay. Whatever. Just feels like it's cutting in my neck now. Oh my gosh, I hate complaining about that stuff. Sorry guys. Sometimes I just think that that problem should have been solved like months ago, and so I just get kind of irritated at myself for having to deal with it now. But that's how it goes. One day I'll have enough time to like fix all these little problems, and then it'll be smooth sailing from then on out. But I try to just change a couple of things every day, like a slow moving train, you know. I moved all that stuff out over there too, so now I can make more room for the trees in the basement now. And I think I'm gonna probably could fit a few more. Like if I put all these upstairs, I think that'd be like the limit. And there it goes. Now my headset's falling again. Back to Neanderthal mode. Alright, push this in. into this bottom end. Pick that up. So I feel that rip there. I also feel me wanting to take this up here. So you see how it's ripping right at that bottom edge there? I'm not gonna let it. Camera B. Camera B. There we go. Somebody said something real quick. Let's see what they got cooking up for me. You deserve more subs. You know, I don't ever think about it like that. You know, like I appreciate what you're saying, right? But you know, everybody, you know, luck happens to people, right? To people in a moment, right away, and sometimes it happens over a long period of time. For those that it happens in the moment, they get huge amounts of luxuries thrown their way, right? Because they have eyes and influence. But I think one thing that you don't get when you don't have to go through the grind or the turbulence of the journey is you don't get to experience glory. So I understand that you think I'm underrated and all this stuff. I really appreciate it, for real. But I also, you got to remember, like, the whole entire reason why I want to do a lot of this stuff is because I want to feel like a glory that I've generated for myself. And so if I don't get, like, if I don't blow up, you know, for a while, that's totally okay. Maybe I'll be 80 years old and I'll finally blow up back on the, you know, 60-something years that I was grinding it out, right? And then not a lot of humans get to experience that level of glory, you know, and so that's kind of what I think I'm looking forward to, right? You got to think, you know, luck is like lightning, right? A lot of people have a little glass bottle to hold as much lightning as they can, right, when luck hits them. Right now, I'm trying to make the biggest glass bottle so when I do get struck by lightning, I just am filled with lightning for the rest of my life, right? And so that's all I'm doing right now is I'm just creating the bottle, right? But again, thank you for what you said. I appreciate it. I'm thinking too, like people like those big titles and stuff, and like people do like the crazy things where they're like, I'm gonna do 20 push-ups a day for a year, right? They do that stuff, right? And so I think, but their problem is that they publicize it from the very start, and sometimes it works out for them, but sometimes it doesn't. For me, I'm like a quiet, like menacing panther, you know? I'm just lurking as I'm just making every single day. I make 3 of these trees and I edit every single day. And so after I finish all these trees and I just get to drop the video of me, you know, walking through my apartment that is like totally filled with pots everywhere, right? I like that idea that while other people are publicizing, they're marketing it as their grind, I'm just doing it, you know, I'm just getting after it. And I kind of like that mentality, right? Because sometimes people only do things because other people are motivating them, right? Because other people are cheering them on, right? And that can be a big motivator for people. But, you know, you really have discipline when nobody's motivating you. There's no influence. I'm not getting no money from this either. And you just keep on attacking, right? Unrelenting force, right? That's kind of what my work, I think, I want it to be about. I'll get this a little bit wider on this top here. Okay, so this way when I collapse this in, it's already pretty wide. So maybe I can get something kind of cool on this one. We'll see. I could do 6, okay. Okay, so it's already kind of out. Okay, so now my headset's really falling on my face here. That was crazy. Camera A. So you guys can see how much this is over my... There we go. I feel like that kind of fixed it a little bit. Now I feel like the rubber band's opening my eyes. I feel like I'm a crazy person. It's like, have you ever seen those videos of somebody taking like, it's like, I think it's like pantyhose and setting it on their head, and then another person sitting across from them, and then they're like pulling the pantyhose from behind their head, right? And it like has all their facial features go upward. I feel like that's what I feel like right now. And that's too particular of a reference, but if you had Vine or stuff like that, I feel like you would know what I'm talking about. Bring this up right here. I think we got to do some tendrils on this one. I think all of them today, they didn't have any tendrils, but today on this ending part, we'll put tendrils on this last one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Curl these up, right? Really allow these to sort of nest and settle where they need to. You don't want to force them, right? You want them to sort of lay on there as if they grew there. Like they're crawling up to find like sunlight, or they're some other thing they're reaching, right? I always think that trees are kind of interesting and plants are interesting because they're always reaching for nutrients, right? Whether it comes from light, whether it comes from soil, they're always reaching, right? They never stop, right? And that's what I think is like the coolest part about plants. I think you can actually relate to the way plants feel. I don't know if plants actually have feelings or stuff, but just like reaching and getting after something, you're exhibiting plant behavior. Anyway, I'll set this one here. We'll have that one in the front. We'll have these 3 right here. We'll have number 2 hanging out right here. So this one looks like it's gonna fall completely, so we just gotta have that back right there like that. And we can tilt this up a little bit too. That's totally okay, because we need to make some room for the last pot here. And this back, it's interesting. Oh, Discord is disconnected. Huh. I wonder if that's probably my bad. Interesting. So I think I just got disconnected from everybody, but I'm back now. I hope you guys are okay. But my recording is still okay, so I'm just gonna keep on cruising. All right. Oh, I forgot to turn this on. Gotta turn this on. All right. Camera A. Green on. Green on. All right. So this one is the last one that we did. I actually quite like this one. I've been doing this thing where I really project my pinkies out forward, and I think it actually has been turning out pretty cool. I think this one really has that nice rounded top, and you can even see some of the throwing lines on that rounded top there, and so I think that actually looks kind of cool. I wish I would have gotten that middle part to be a little bit more sucked up, but I think overall it's a pretty good pot. Speaking of sucked up, I think that this middle here on this twist on this side, this one turned out great. Oh, I went over my time limit, so now I'm in a different background. Oh, whatever. Anyway, so this one I think really has that nice sort of tree quality to it. Has a very nice contrast between the bottom splaying outwards, the tree trunk, that twist, that tightness, and then the release kind of on that top there. And then if we look right above me, the one in the middle here, I think that this one is the most plain of all of them today. Again, that base I think is just a little bit too thick, right? And there's not a lot going on the top that really helps it out, so it's more mundane. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. All the best and strong mentality.